Sat Sri Akal ji Saranu. My name is Harshal, and today we are going to talk about Three Body Problem, a new Netflix show which is mind blowing. I just loved it. It comes in the category of Black Mirror, Dark, and now this, I would say. It's a good drama, and I'm going to break it down and I'm going to talk about four things. First, one part of the story which happens in China, second part of the story that happens in London, third part of the story which is the game basically, and why it happens, and the last part is the ending which I kind of loved and just want to explain. So the very first thing about this show starts with the story of a young Chinese girl who's a physicist, and her father is also a physicist and a lecturer, who is basically killed in front of her on a stage. The communists are running the Chinese country during that time. She works with a construction camp and then she's imprisoned. She's hating the world more and more here, but because of her knowledge and brain she's got, she gets to be a part of a secret society that is also run by the Red Cross, who are the villain for her. But she gets to go there and find out that these guys have a large dish-like structure which is basically trying to reach out to extraterrestrial life. Now, this woman, because she has a lot of brain power, she decides to transmit it through sun using its power, and then it reaches to some aliens who kind of respond back. Now, this is the interesting part, that when she gets a response, it says, "I'm a pacifist from this other world, and if you are reading this, I request you to not reply to this, because then these people will come and conquer your world." She kind of feels that humans are beyond help and only some other power can come and help them. She finds a foreign man named Mike Evans, whose father runs a oil corp and he's very rich, and she tells him, she confides in him that I just called aliens and they are coming in about 450 years. And then the story just jumps on to 2024, the second part of our video. 2024 London, where we have six scientists who are physicists and best friends. One of them, Vera Ye, who's basically the daughter of Ye Wenji, the girl from China. She came to London, settled here, and her daughter finds out that every scientific theory so far that has been going for 60, 70 years has been just disproven and nothing is right. And we see her commit suicide at her workplace. Now, at her funeral, we see a lot of her friends gather together. Meanwhile, a detective, Da Chi, who's played by Benedict Wong, is trying to kind of find out the reasons for a lot of physicists and scientists kind of dying unexplainably and in a very weird way. This ties him to Vera Ye, and he encounters a lot of her friends are also physicists, who kind of end up being the core part of the story later on. Now the friends, if we talk about them, they are named Augie, Saul, Will, Jin, Vera, and Mike. Now Augie has also started to get visions. She's seeing a countdown, which kind of means that by the time it ends, she will die. This is the first episode I'm talking about. Like, what's her work all about? Her work is basically creating nanotechnology, which is basically so strong and so invisibly tiny that it can cut through diamond. So it's the best thing they have, which can be used for medical or military purposes. Scared by her death, she kind of stops her work. In the end of the first episode, we see a blinking sky, which is what Augie and Saul experience. Jin Cheng, who's kind of the core part of this entire series, comes across a headset, a VR headset at Vera's place, and her mother, Ye Wenji, asks her to take it if she wants to. And she encounters a game which is so weird. Like you're in a new world where the world has two sections, which is a chaotic era and a stable era. In stable era, life booms, everybody's happy, everybody's prospering, and when a chaotic era occurs, everything goes to shit. And by the end of third level where they encounter, okay, this is a three body problem. This is why the name is three body problem. Three body problem basically is that there are three suns and the planet is in the middle of them, and it's orbiting all three of them. So when it's orbiting one of them, everything is good. They have a stable era. But when other suns pull it towards them and it's kind of getting pulled by each sun, there's a chaotic error. And she finds out that you cannot solve this riddle, and the purpose is to save the people and not save the planet. Which is when it is revealed that this game is an alien game that everybody is playing. Only a select people are playing actually, and they are being given this game so that they can judge who is worth being a part of their team, of their secret society, which is led by Mike Evans and Yevenji. Now, these are the aliens who are telling us that, alright, we are coming to you, we'll reach there in 400 years. We want you to know that we are coming to save our species and we'll live with you. And they do not tell us how they look like. We have no idea what they look like, and they say maybe you won't be able to handle it. And Jin kind of corroborates with the detective and a mysterious character who's played by Liang Cunningham called Thomas Wade. They try to understand how to kind of fight them and how to save the planet, and they send her to the place where she's been invited, and over there something weird happens. The police comes and kind of arrests everybody, and even Yevenji, who's kind of the leader of this cult, who believes that it's their lord who's coming to save them. Now, one of their friends, Will Downing, is already dying of cancer, and he's kind of the heart of the story, which kind of keeps you hooked to it. Like, he really gives the feel that is required for a drama. Now, Thomas Wade, the character, is trying to kind of save the world. He builds a secret institution. He has all the resources. We don't know who he works for. He builds a team who has to devise a plan to send a probe to their spaceship, which is like light years away, and kind of find out that what are they all about. Now, the catch is that aliens have sent their sentient computers to Earth, which could travel through light years, and now they're able to say everything, which is how they're basically trying to hallucinate anybody they want to. And it's so good that they're able to see everything. So they're literally God. They can see everything that is happening on Earth, do whatever they want to, show anybody whatever they want to. But they let everybody die, everybody who is their follower, because they kind of find out one reason to hate humans, which is that they lie and deceive. This happens during a session between Mike Evans and the Lord, where he is telling the story of Little Red Riding Hood, and they understand that humans cannot be trusted. And so when he says that we are your followers and the other humans are pests, he kind of gives them an idea, which is the crux of the show, where they say, you are bugs and we are coming to take over, which is why everybody's trying to fight aliens now. So this plan of sending a probe happens in a way where Thomas Wade is trying to go himself, but he cannot because the probe is really small. They decide to somebody who's already dying, and that's Will. And Will is Jin's best friend, and he loves Jin, so he kind of agrees to do it. But he has to die, and only his brain can go in the probe. And now they try and they fail miserably. His brain kind of goes somewhere else in the space, and now Jin is extremely sad. Now let's come to the ending part of the show, which had more of the emotional layering rather than just something very technical. Now UN decides to create a wall-face program where 3 people out of the entire world are selected who will devise a plan in their brain, because they can see everything but they cannot learn what humans are thinking. So there is no plan on paper, nobody is really talking about. These 3 people are going to devise a plan which will help them save the world. And there are 2 decorated soldiers and military people, and then there is Saul Durand, one of the physicist's friends, and he has no idea how he's there, and we also have no idea how he's there. What I think is important is that Saul Durand meets Yevenji before she goes to the place where her story began in Inner Mongolia, and she dies there. But she says something very interesting to Saul before going. She tells her story of how she kind of repents everything, and she says it's a joke, but she says that that's the personal thing about jokes, that it's very personal and not everybody can understand it. That's the beauty of it. And Saul tries to understand it. He's not really almost there, but it kind of shows that Ye feels that he is somebody who has intense intelligence, and he is somebody who can be trusted in terms of saving the world, probably, which is why the aliens are against him, which is why the UN decides to make him one of the wall faces. Now, in the end, the last scene, which is the best thing I found out about this show, that it did not have a cliffhanger of any sorts. It just had a very deep meaning, where Jin and Saul are very sad about their friend getting lost in space, and he's not understanding why he's the guy who's been selected for all of this. Dashi, Benedict Wong, who's half drunk, kind of tells them to just stop gloating, come with me, and he takes them to a shore where he kind of shows them a lot of flies and bugs around them and says, humans have been trying to get rid of pests for so many years. They are squished, they are killed with gases, they're sprayed on, they've done so many things, and somehow still they exist, which is the beauty of being a bug. Even if aliens think that we are bugs, humans are still gonna survive. That's the beauty of the ending, that they do not go berserk with it, they do not play with your feelings or anything, they just leave some hope in the end of it. So guys, just let me know what you think. If you have questions, if you think you need to correct me somewhere, please do it. I really want to discuss. I was really intrigued by a show after a very, very long time. Last time I was this happy watching something, a sci-fi drama, was Dark.